chat filter, all message. All right, so let's test this. Okay. So right now I'm just doing a test to see if it's working, but I don't see the chat. I don't see anything at all. So if there's somebody watching, if you can just drop a hi or something just to see if it pops. The purpose is so people can actually ask question. It's working. Hi Henry, how are you? I saw that you were watching my shorts, so it's actually pretty funny. Um, got a question. Can you hear me pretty well, or is it a bit like muddy? Can you hear me? Great, thank you. Yeah, well, the thing is, what's funny about the shorts, it's when you publish them, they just stay within the algorithm for like 72 hours. And when I look at the trend, like they raise up, they reach maybe a few thousand people, and then it just stop having views. And lately, I'm seeing you watching them, and I see that little stat, and somebody's watching here and there. So yeah, it's actually pretty funny. Um, Maybe I'll start doing some more, but just need a bit more time. So right now it's really just a small test stream, just testing to see if the setup makes sense. I'm gonna move to the garage. I think if I start doing this more often. Hi Stuart. So yeah, so what I'll do, like today is a test. So if people got question about auto body repair, let's say you got dents or rust and you want to know how to fix it, I'm gonna answer a few questions. But later, what I'll do, I'll set up basically beside the Hummer, so we got a backdrop of the Hummer. Hi, Stuart from Italy. Hi, buddy. I'm from Canada. Yeah, the thing is, flowers or Avery. Sorry, not sure which name you prefer, Avery, Avery. Um, the thing is, I got a newborn, 2 months old. So basically, what happened, I was making a lot of videos and shorts before she was born. Now that she's born, I'm investing a lot more time into the kids. But with her growing up, I'll get a bit more freedom. As more she gets independent, the more independence that I get. I'm on the East Coast, so the Maritimes. So basically, close. If you got in the United States, you got Maine on the East Coast, like northern east of the US. Basically, I'm in the same corner in Canada. So some people say that the Maine is like a tiny Canada. So basically, yeah. UTZ 6462, the editor, Canada. Yeah. Hey, Duncan. Sweet ass. Yep. Are you both from Canada? UTZ and Duncan? Yo! Sounds like a guy from the East Coast. Do you treat older vehicle metal differently than today's vehicle? That's a really great question. So a long time ago, yeah, I did. I did say your name, UTZ. Uh, so every, so the thing is, I did a lot of restore of antique vehicle. That was like my pet projects for a long period of time. And I was working on an old 1957 M100 Mercury those old trucks that had the gas tank inside the cab. And when I was working on it, uh, I figured out, and I didn't know, right? We're learning stuff. In those times, they were actually using metal. Now I'm trying to remember, is it lead? Anyways, they were melting metal to fill up dents. Instead of bringing back the metal into like a proper shape, they would just fill it up. So after you clean, you check at the weight of the vehicle after it was repaired, the vehicle would weigh a lot more after the repair. I'm in Montreal, cool beans, man. French Canadian or English? Duncan, New Zealand, still got it, mate. Sweet. Hi from Canada to New Zealand. Cool beans. I went to Montreal at the University of Montreal for a year, and that was in the 2012 when we had the Red Square uh, manifestation. Too sure I would say that, the strike. And what I did, I returned to Nova Scotia to, there is a small French university in the southern part of Nova Scotia, really, really tiny, like 400 students. And I did all my pre-medical school and stuff like that over there. Guess where I am? I guess who you are, man. Hey, PL, how are you, man? So yeah, so basically when I was fixing antique cars, I realized that a lot of them got filler, but instead of being bundled, they were actually melting metal and filling up uh, those sections. So it's really hard to do a job in those corners because that junction between the melted metal and the old sheet of metal would crack. And sometimes I would just go with a grinder and clean it all up and try to bring back the metal. So usually I'll just cut it off, put a new sheet of metal, and then redo the job. Have you ever farted in bed and pulled a cover over your head? I sleep with a cover over my head all the time. So when I fart, I choke and I puke. That sucks. Yeah, well, it, mm. So yeah, to answer every, there is a bit of difference how I approach older vehicle compared to newer vehicle when I do patch up. Now the metal is so thin. Is that a load bearing behind you? Oh yes, it is. There's actually a cross crossing the whole thing. You don't see it, but it's just a lot of junk behind there. But yeah. Anyway, uh, so yeah, so when I'm fixing a newer vehicle, the metal is really, really thinner. So even with a MIG, I have to be really careful not to just go through that metal, right? Compared to the older one, I couldn't nearly go with a rod to weld the new plate of metal. So that would make a big difference when I'm fixing vehicles. Joe, where is the drill bib? Yeah, I am. East Coast. Maritimes. Upstart. He lives in his garage. This is the shed. The garage is over there. But the thing is, the garage is full of stuff. So I need to find a spot to be able to put the camera in the chair. So, yeah. Uh, so since this is the first stream, really, you sound like you're from Quebec. Actually, I was born in Quebec, but I've not been living there for a real long time. Every flowers. I have a project, 92G. Nice. For the hood and eventually the body. Something to think, just built out the section. My only advice, hi, there's Logan, you said, say hi, Quebec. Well, I'm not living there anymore. Was born there, but I'm like a half and half. I can hear in your voice, your accent. Yeah. Yeah. You'll never be able to remove the French from any English, right? Even if I try, it's not the same muscles. It's really hard. And I live in a French community, so I try to practice. So doing streams like this helped me out to keep my English. So it actually helps a lot. I'm good. Thank you for asking, Logan. Uh, Nah, my family's from are Acadians. Do you know what Upstart? Do you know what Acadians are? So there's the French from Quebec, and there's actually the French from the Maritimes. Yeah. So basically, 50% of my family are Acadian, right? And I always lived with them, so I love that. Never went back to Quebec. They're right by the Métis. Well, they're Métis. Métis is basically natives and French that bred together and that created the Métis. So it's the same people. Well, Joe Ware, you're asking me if I love eating pussies. got two. I got two kids, so I think that's gonna answer your question. Guess what? Logan, you said what? So yeah, I was saying something before and I just forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, the Jeep. So Avery, the Jeep. Um, an advice that I have when you restore antique vehicles or you do a project, I always say try to do the body work before doing the mechanical work. The reason is this: I saw many guys working on old 68, 69 Chargers, old Mustangs. They would do the engine, all the mechanical part, and the body's not done, and they'll start driving it and beating the shit out of it, right? And what happened at that point, you lose the integrity of the body, of the frame, or etc. And now they're making damage. They got the big engine and they started flooring it, and the frame is not ready to get or handle that whole strength. And this will destroy your project. So usually what I do, uh, I put the mechanical part to the side and I start working really, really hard on the body, make sure it's all sealed, prime, painted, and then I work on the mechanical. Because I, I'm, I'm, I'm like any other guys. I really want to drive it, right? I only have one word in French, Quebec, asti, tabarnak. Mm-hmm. Asti de calice de tabarnak, asti de calice de marde. Okay, you got me there. I won't do it again. Yeah, it's just from 20 years of doing that over and over again. Like if you look at the earlier videos of the channel when I was working on the armor, uh, what is a steam? So basically, Joe wears Drew. Well, I'll just call you Joe. Sorry. So Joe, what happened? French people have a tendency to swear using Christians like holy symbols and stuff like that. So you know that little white piece of bread. I'm not sure if it's bread, but that's called an esti. So that's the thing you put in your mouth and you let it melt. So we use terms like that. And compared to the UK, they'll usually use swearing that's related to like sexual behavior. It's weird. Anyways, it's just like, oh my, oh no, fools, no, no, you're no, stay away, fool. Fool, I sent you an email. I don't know if you saw that. Waiting for an answer. So, anyways, what I'm doing right now, fool, I'm just doing a test run, all right? I'm not started streaming like crazy. Communion, the body of the Christ. Yeah, exactly, Joe. That's what it is. It's the OST. Welcome to the live world. Thanks. I have one question. Did you guys saw an ad when you joined? Was there like a, I don't know, were they trying to sell you bitcoins and stuff like that when you clicked in? Nope. Okay. So what I'm trying to do right now, I'm doing a test to see how the monetization works with streams because I'm not too sure. Not too sure if it's a question of donation or if they're ads. And like when I was clicking it, it said like, do you want YouTube to just throw ads in it? And I'm like, I never saw any ads while we watching a stream. So I clicked yeah to test it out, just to see what happened. So yeah, whatever they want to do, I don't really care. It's really more a test to see how it flows. Right now my data is going well. I don't think I'm lagging either. Fool, do you have any bodywork question, Fool? Do you want to repaint one of your Harley? Like a bright pink or, a dark red? No? Sweet. Thank Avery. That, glad to hear that. About $500 of Bitcoin when it started at $4. That's not bad. No, I'm not sure how much it's worth now. Not even sure. Depending on which Bitcoin you bought, you got good money on the side there. Bright pink Harley. You can't lose it. You'll even piss drunk. You'll get out of the bar. You'll know exactly where your bike is. See? Should I donate you $1,000? No, 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 no. Boss, don't do that. I like the purpose of the channel for me is to give information like on mechanic and auto body repair. So if I can help you out to save money, that is basically me winning. If there's ads and YouTube wants to pay me, that, that's on them. That's not on you guys. So don't bother giving $1,000. It's not something that I need. Joe, 60,000 per coin today. Boy. Oh boy, buddy. That's great. 50,000. No, I'm good. I'm good, but so just to give you an idea, boss, I'm not rich, all right? But I work many type of job and I recycled myself and returned to my studies a few years back and not too long ago, like 6 years ago. And I became a lawyer. So that's why the channel is named Pro Bono Mechanic, because I was doing a lot of pro bono work. And I'm well off enough to say that I can do this, do my mechanic, and enough to help out in my community around. So the money is not something that I need, and I prefer people keeping their money or giving it away, like to schools and stuff like that. Right? One of the biggest thing that I give money for, it's like giving money to free lunch at school and stuff like that for kids that doesn't have any food. I wasn't that well off when I was a kid, so I had to work in the cafeteria at school to be able to feed myself and keep going. So if you can give money to your local school to help them out with that, that'd be sweet. I would prefer to do that. After the framework, now I'll start first. I was thinking of lining the Jeep. I drive it top down and leave it top down. I knew a dude, what he did. You remember those diamond plate? So he did the floor completely with diamond plate. So he lined it and he put the diamond plate over it. So the salt, everything, the dirt, everything that would fall inside of it will just stay within those diamond plates. So that's actually a really good way to protect it. I am a millionaire and I will give you $500,000. People in the world gave a lot to me, so I'm giving back to the world. Man, I wouldn't change anything in my life, even for $1 million. Like, I got beautiful kids, a beautiful wife. My ass is blessed right now. I don't know what I did to deserve this. And I would say this: if you have $1 million, do a, how do you call that? Try to remember the name of that. It's just go to school, talk with them, say you want to invest $1 million to that school or in your state or province or wherever you are. And the interest of that $1 million should be per year returned to funding to help students with low income to be able to go to school, help them out, buy books and stuff like that. So let's say you invest $1 million and makes, I don't know, 20,000. Well, can give $1,000 to each kid that's going to graduate and go to university or college, trade school, so they can buy boots, gear, at least have a good start to help them out. That'd be something really sweet to do, I think. That'd be a really good way to do it. No, I'm Joe, awesome. Good for you living your own life and helping others. After a while, you realize that that's the way to go, man. It's just living for yourself is fun, but to a certain degree, being able to sleep at night helps a lot more. That's kind of you, the humbleness of this man. Ah, come on, fool. Come on. You're the same as me. Come on, fool. Avery, that will look awesome. I'll take picture of before and after. Yeah, do it. Hi, fool. Yes, he sounds very kind. I'm Canadian. Eh? But yeah, so basically, like one thing that I did when I became a lawyer, or more one thing that I realized. So when I was in law school, we were really drilled into the access to justice. The idea that the justice system costs so much money that even a lawyer can't afford a lawyer. And they said, well, the majority of people, like 80% or 85% of the people, don't make the income of a lawyer. So they highly suggest that we did pro bono work. So that means doing the work for free. And when I started, I opened my firm. The first year I did about 450 hours of bono. So helping people that was in low income. And that would go from, I don't know, a lady calling because the electric company cut off her electricity in the middle of the winter. Well, she doesn't have any money, right? So I'm not gonna charge her $5,000 to get her back electricity so she can stay and not freeze, right? So I would just call them up and do the paperwork and send email and stuff like that, and trying to, convince them to not let that woman freeze over the winter. And yeah, you do stuff like that and you realize that it's not the amount of money, but the quality of the job that you do. Ah, come on, fool. I'm listening, but also working. What you working on? Hmm? Are you really working? Or you're thinking about going to work? Question, Avery. For the 92, is the mechanic pretty solid in it, or is the body good? So what's off with it? Yeah, exactly. Good afternoon, Mr. Pro Bono. Hi, Caroline. How are you? Welcome in. Like I told people, it's really just a test today. I'm not going to stream every day or every week. Really just trying it out, learning from Fool and, looking at him going at it. So I'm going to give a test, check out the stat goes and whatnot. So yeah, Avery, that's why I called Pro Bono Mechanic, because I created the channel when I was in law school. And the idea of pro bono, it's the name means for the people. So the idea was to make a mechanical channel for the people and help them out, at least to know that they can save a bit of money and survive. It costs a lot of money, and a car is, for me that lives in the middle of nowhere, if your car is not working, you can walk. You can walk to work. It's impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but you're gonna get up at midnight and start working for the next 6 hours to get to your job. Lives looks good on you, sir. Thank you very much, Caroline. It's really kind of you. So right now, I believe I got Avery, Caroline, and Fool. And Fool is supposed to be working. Not sure if he's working. It's not a beer. It's just a bubbly. I'm not full, but I'll smoke my cigars. Oh, for real? I never asked what you do. What's your type of work? You don't need to answer. It's the internet. You don't need to answer that, Caroline. I was just asking like that. I don't want people to throw out their personal thing on the internet there. Like for me, I don't mind the channels about mechanics, so I guess people kind of figure out there was a bit of mechanic in there. Engineer on demand. Oh, sweet. That's cool. That's cool. Electric engineer, civil engineer. Avery, it's parked at first, just need brakes. Then it's out for years. Yeah, most projects, right? It's stick shift. You mean it's standard, or do you mean like the shifter is jammed, like the cables are just stuck? Sweet. My sister is a quality engineer. So basically, she was working for big companies that make car parts and plane parts, and she basically look at what are the problems. Let's say one of the propeller had a failure, she'll look down the line of production, try to find out what was the cause of the defect, and then find out if it was the machine or if it was the employee and what needs to be done to fix the problem. So she's like a psychologist engineer because sometimes just the employee is not feeling well. So she needs to find a way to make that engineer, that member of the production happier or feel better about the job so he can actually keep doing a good job. But maybe other stuff. Mm. Okay. Okay. So I guess you don't mind when Fool is like, engineer don't think about mechanical work. Just stick shift. Works fine. Just been sitting. Yeah. You're out of VFD phases. Okay. Okay. And that's the killer, right? I had the, like Avery, for an example, I had the Toyota Corolla and I parked that car that was 200,000 miles, 200,000 kilometers, which is about, I'll say 120,000 miles. And I parked it for a winter. And when it was time to start it back, the fuel pump was out, the starter was out, one of the shock was leaking, and one of the brakes seized up. Just 6 months, 6 month part. It's just a killer, right? Uh, yeah, that's the thing, right? As soon as you start moving it, all the rust started to move, and sometimes the seals dried up. And when you start driving, they just crack open, right? That's one of the problem. If there was like something we could shoot and seal them. Not sure. Not sure if that could exist, but like a wax or something. I don't know. Just me throwing that out there and being able to park vehicle. I I had like a Mustang for a little while. I had the Caballero for which is an El Camino for a little while, and I'm always scared to park them for just a month because the fact is I know if I park them and not drive them just for a little while, something would break down. I just to keep it oiled up, keep driving it, and never stop. Right? Mhm. 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 I'm saying I do have a job over here. Got to defend myself. Currently 970 cat surface loader. Just finished the old belts back on because my parts people screw me up. Seriously again? Send you the wrong parts, or they're just taking their sweet time to send you the parts? So basically, full, you got to be sitting for the next like 2 hours until they send you the right parts. I know what I'm missing, fool. I'm missing a red nip. Just need a red sitting in the back, right? Just to fill up the background. But you see, fool, if I get 100,000 sub, I'll put the play button right there. If that ever happens someday in my lifetime, you know, smart. But I'll stream in the garage. Pretty sure. Like right now, I'm in the shed, but I'll try to do a cleanup in the corner of the garage. I was going to take it all apart, but needed gasket tubes on all of it. My husband can do it, but time. So I'll do it. Yeah, it it can become a 2 year project. It can be a 1 year, a 1 week project. Depends on the time. And taking vacation time. Let's say you got a week off just to work on the Jeep. Like when you need a break, working on that can be a bit tedious. So yeah, I completely understand that. But if you can do the job yourself, that's pretty good. Just one part at a time. And don't know if you got a shop. Did you get your parts for your Hummer? Yes, I did. I did. Uh, the latest video that I did is like a few months back. It was about the power steering hose. So basically, the way it works, you got a canister for your power steering. The hose goes down, goes over the cross that just go under the engine, and it comes back to the power steering. Uh, the problem is there is two mounts with small rubbers and a metal plate. And what happened over time, those rubber kind of dried up and break. So the hose is just like grinding over the cross. And to one point, it's just going to start like cracking. So I ordered many hoses that I was supposed to put, they were supposed to be perfect fit, and they weren't perfect fit. So I decided instead of buying the whole kit, buy the hose separately and just install them separately. So that's my latest video to show up people how to change them on the hover. Draw red on the wall behind you. You know what? What I could do a print screen of red sitting, print that and put that right there on the wall, just there. That'd be really fun. And I still need to do that short with the Fool's Errand garage when I green screen myself over it. One thing that I find really, really interesting, like right now, it's a y'all shooting. Come on. Uh, One thing that I feel that's really interesting, I was looking at Fool's YouTube and his lives, and I was going down the list, trying to steal my Reda. Well, we can pack him in a box and just like order like a new engine, a crate engine, just throw him inside the crate and ship him to Canada. And I'll feed him and I'll give him some alcohol. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine. He may sleep in the shed, but you know, he's gonna be well taken care of. I'll feed him well. He's gonna have a great belly. Telling you, maple syrup and bacon all day long for the next like 5 years. He's not gonna complain. Come on. But yeah, full. So what I was saying is basically, I was looking at your live, like the whole library of videos, and I was looking way down at the videos, and I was looking how much people were watching your live shows, and you see that it's going like 200, 400, 600, 1,000, 3,000, and now you're like at 29,000 people watching. It's crazy how the algorithm really loves seeing you so often, right? So right now today it's really just a test of me. So if I reach 100 people, I'd be surprised. But and what I mean by 100 people is people tuning in and off count as person watching, right? The stuffed animal is funny. The stuffed animal is funny. The short content creating is hard, and I just I took my daughter's Pokemon and I put my cap on it and my coat, and I just leave it sitting there. And I did a stream of it just sitting there for 8 hours because I found that hilarious. But anyways, you would just need a shoebox for that. Nothing too big. Yeah, yeah. Could put like a small shoebox with a nice little, like a baby like sheet bottom of it, and you can just sit in it. It's gonna be comfortable. I hope I didn't piss off too much Dick Jr. yesterday on Fool's live stream. I kept calling him Red 2.0 because he had a red shirt. So yeah, he's still Red 2.0 to me, but mm-mm. It's funny because I'm looking at the amount of people in the corner, and it keeps fluctuating. Sometimes reach zero, sometimes it comes back like two, three people, then drop back at zero, come back. So I'm not sure if it's just lagging or. And I admit that it's what, like 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. at night in my place. So it's not the greatest thing to do a stream at that time, since everybody else on the West Coast, it's way earlier for them. They're pretty much all working, but yeah, just me doing a small test. See if I can handle the question of people. I was really expecting to get people at least to ask me a question about bodywork. Thank you, Avery, because you participated. Thank you, Caroline, because you're a trooper and you're pretty much with Jeremiah, with Fools, with me. It's pretty amazing. And Fools, well, it's Fool. Any projects? Oh, God. I try to stay away from projects right now because of the kids. I have that bad habit of when I'm having a project, I like dump 100% of my time inside of it until it's done. And I can prevent myself from sleeping for days on, right? And get 2 hours of sleep and just keep working on it. So I try to stay away from project now. But down the line, the idea is that the armor is going to leave. So I'm going to have some space in the garage. And I always wanted a Mopar, like a Dodge. There's the Dodge Satellite I really like. Of course, I like the Charger and the Challenger, but the thing is, they cost a lot of money, and the parts are getting so rare now. You see, when I had the El Camino, it's a G body. It's basically a car from the 80s. Everything got scrapped. So if I remember, around 2005 to 2007, the price of metal went up, and everybody that had old cars parking in their lot, they just starting selling them for metal, and we lost so many parts. But we got some companies that are starting to produce back those old parts, but they're not perfect fit. So, for example, I was fixing an S15 truck, a GMC from the 90s or 80s, 90s, and I had to order four different fenders to find just one that wasn't off by a full inch. All the others, the fender would go over the door. So even if I bolt it, I would need to get a grinder and cut it off completely. It's a mess. So I hope nowadays a bit better. There's a lot more company and diverse company doing parts. But starting a project nowadays, it's risky and you'll need to do a lot of modification to make it fit. So red is the equivalent of a stuffed animal. Now you're making me think that maybe instead of having red, I could have that stuffed animal just sitting behind me, right? And I could switch my cap and give it to it. I could do that. Yeah. But yeah, if I could, I would do a classic, at least one. And I would really like to do a stroker engine. So basically, a bigger cam for the engine, but um, the problem with the strokers is they are not reliable on the long term. They sound amazing, but it's a bit more work over time. And I prefer to do builds that are safer and I can go on long road trip with it and go see full with an old antique car. That'd be pretty amazing. But yeah, I'll see. Either a vintage or maybe a motorcycle. If I go for a motorcycle, I will try to buy one where I need to fix it, like a restore, and paint it with my own design, right? That'd be pretty cool. That's something I really like to do. I feel that I took like 10 minutes to answer that question. But yeah, right now, no project at all. Just kid project. Let's say my kids are my project for the next 5 years because I think the first 5 years of their life is the most important part. So if I can invest a lot of time into them, and I think later on it's going to pay back to me. So that's my that's my take on my project right now. I spit inside my garage, my shed. Oops, reflex. Um, Trying to think. Something to say. Well, one of the best project that I ever did, my biggest project that I did for restoring an antique car, it was a 1986 Camaro. Had older, like 60 cars and 50s, but that car was completely dead. The floor pans were gone. It was rusted to hell. It had a 350 with an automatic engine, but when you look at the floor, it still had the clutch. So what I did, I found in an old 327 from um, not an Acadian. What's the name of that? It's like a Nova. But anyway, let's say a 327 from a Nova, and I redid the whole floor. And what I did, I gutted out, removed the windshield, removed the engine, removed the seats, all the plastic, the upholstery. And what I was doing, I was priming the car by going through the engine bay, going through the windshield, going back to the through the trunk, going onto the floor, and just priming the whole thing like a whole shell, and then paint it all black and do two beautiful red stripes that would change color between a burnt orange to a dark red, depending on the sunlight hit it. And then I dropped the 327, and I had the genius idea at that time. And I now that I know, I would never do that again. But in those years, I was like, chrome is the word. So I chromed the old engine. The whole thing was chrome, like the valve covers, the alternators, the what's the name of that? The chain plate that goes in the front was chrome. The oil pan was chrome. The whole thing was chrome, and the engine was bright orange. I found out later on that the problem with the chrome parts, they don't handle the heat. So what happened over time, the valve covers would warp just a bit and not seal properly over the gaskets, and it would always be dripping. The same thing for the oil pan, the same thing for the chain, the timing chain cover. The whole thing was always leaking. So I had a perfect car, a full restore, everything brand new, and it just pissed oil all over the place. So that was a mistake, but at the same time, that was the best project that I did, and it took me 2 years to do it. Find a GTX satellite. Come steal it. Damn you fool. You have your passport? Oh, you don't. You don't have your passport. Oh, yeah, you must have your passport. Damn it. Won't tell you where you're living. That's for sure. Well, you can steal it if you put gas in it when you return it. Fair? Yeah, that's fair. Avery, I'm doing the Jeep project to see how much I can do. Thank goodness my husband has all the tools. Listen, it's for me, mechanical work is the basic survival instinct. If you know how to do your mechanical work, you're like having the best survival chance in society. So even if you're stranded, even if you ran out of money or job, you know you'll always be able to travel, find new job, etc. The car is like nowadays like a must. If you live in a city, it's different. You got bus and stuff like that, but it still costs money. So a car helps a lot. I don't know if I can go to the Great White North. It's really cold out here. And you got like the polar bear just like on the border with the Maine. Really, really aggressive lately. Don't know if it's the summertime, right? And all our houses are melting, like the igloos. Like my igloo is like 3 floor and the top is melting down. Ah, it's crazy. The maple syrup is turning bad. We have a bad year. Don't come over, fool. It's not a great time. Just just be careful. But the Moose are fine. Lately, the Moose got their own political party there, and they're really more calm now. So they have a tendency to get less in the way of cars. So we got less accident with the moose lately. Just telling you that like that. Don't worry, fool. So yeah, so when I redid the Camaro, the '86 Camaro. The car cost. I bought the car for like $2,000, which is like, I don't know, 1,500 USD, and I invested about $10,000 in 2 years, which I was investing like a good 20 hours per week, just slowly and with the paint job and everything. So was the Camaro worth $12,000 when I was done with it? For me, I believe so. But could I have get $12,000 if I tried to sell it? I don't think so. So that's a problem with vintage car, is because you need to find somebody that's really attracted to that specific model, and they really want whatever you did with it, right? It's cold over here. It actually, I got a coat and we're in August, right? And it's not too warm, so it's kind of weird. So yeah, if you restore the Jeep, you could fetch a good amount of money later on. I would say if you do a full fix. But for me, it's basically if you do the old project, just keep it. It's it's your heart and soul, right? And there's an amazing feeling of completing a project at 100%. It's satisfying, and it's hard to find back that feeling of accomplishment later on. That's that's my personal take on that. I know, Caroline. And you know what's the worst? I had completely stopped smoking, Caroline. Uh, there's a few of my videos where you see me smoking cigars when I was working, and a lot of people were telling me stop smoking. And I actually stopped when I got my first daughter. And I stopped for a really long period of time. And when the stress came back, it was really hard to control myself. And with the lack of sleep, I just returned to the habit so fast. So it's really, really hard to stop smoking when you get used to it. And I've been smoking for a really long time. Yeah, it's a lot of money, and you need at least one troll. It's not trolling, and that's the thing with me, right? I guess I'm too much of a kind type of guy, but there's truth in that troll. So you're right. I should not keep going smoking, and I always try to calm down, but I need to keep my hand busy. I need to drink my coffee. So often you'll see me drinking coffee. That's why it's a way to try to keep my hands busy to do something else or keep my mind busy. As soon as I sit down or I don't eat or I'm tired, it just goes there. So skipping, if you're trying to stop smoking, that's my advice to people. If you're trying to stop smoking, make sure you eat your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner, and try to get your sleep. It's gonna help out a lot, make a big difference, and lower your level of stress. But nowadays, like it's like the disease of this society. We're all stressed out. So with the inflation and all of that, mm, it's hard. So I got a question, Caroline. Now that I think of it, you're an engineer. Started vaping to avoid smoking. Yeah, yeah. Then you see, I think we're all old enough in the chat to remember the time where everybody was smoking in malls, in stores. And my mom was like a clothing seller. She was just like always in all type boutiques and stuff like that. And I remember in those years, if somebody wanted to buy a white shirt, she would always grab one in the back because the one in the front will become like yellowish from the smoking of people, and they would have like smoke burns on them, cigarette burns. So if you wanted a clean shirt, you would need to buy the one in the back, and when you get home, you need to wash it to make sure that all the gunk from the smoke was gone. So I remember those years, right, when we were smoking in hospitals and smoking in planes, right? Nowadays, you wouldn't think about that, but yeah, for people that lived it, fools, I am the troll. Yeah, you live under the bridge, just under a bridge, and you're just like attacking people that's walking over you. Come on, fool. You're not a troll. Well, yeah, I think you are actually. Red is like the assistant troll. He's not doing a good job though. My mind is going places, and I'm thinking about Fool hiding in the woods just beside a small bridge. Every time somebody wants to pass by with their quad, it's like, ah, pay me a fee or get me a beer. Sorry, Fool. I just went there. It's all good. Don't worry, Avery. I actually do the same. Like sometimes I'm preparing dinner, and it's usually at the same time that Fool start his stream. So I got one headphone, and I'm giggling as I'm cooking for the family and the kids. So yeah, it's all. I know, Fool. You're a good man. I like you, but you got a nice face. Yeah, good guy. I'm pretty surprised I didn't get any random people saying that it looked like a werewolf. Last time that's what was happening in full stream. By the way, full, did you reach the 3,000 hours watch? Did you get that? You must be really close to it. Really, really close. So close. So check that email that I sent you if you can. I gave you like a rundown as soon as you reach that 3,000. Uh, I made a rundown. I explained quickly like how it works for the AdSense and all those stuff. It can be really confusing at first when you don't know. And you'll see that you can do memberships, and it's basically a Patreon for YouTube. So that's going to help out. A lot of people don't like Patreon because it's off the website. And since Google is linked with YouTube for that, it helps to be easier. So for the people that bothers you with donations, stuff like that, you'll be able to tell them just become a member. Then you can add like little icons to let them know that they've been a member for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and you get the numbers that keep raising. So it's pretty cool. If full is a troll, red is like a garden gnome. Oh, I know what I'm gonna send them next time. Those little cat. I'm gonna buy one for red, like a red one, of course. And it's gonna have that. It's gonna be awesome, like a little garden gnome, a big garden gnome. So if red lives in your yard, that actually makes sense. That is a garden gnome. Huh. Good point, Caroline. Good point. But to cover what you said about smoking, Caroline, I think if I do streams in the channel, I won't smoke in the garage. If I'm in the shed, it's fine. It's outside. It's not attached to a house. It's because my garage is fused with the house itself. So I wouldn't want to smoke inside. Yeah, with the kids, it's not something that I like to do. Really surprised that I don't get more random people with random like mechanic question or body repair question. But yeah, I feel you, fool. I know it's the same with you. Oh, Avery, when it will be the time to paint your Jeep, I highly, highly suggest a base clear coat over the urethane paint. So basically, urethane paint is a single phase paint that we call. So basically, when you're painting your Jeep, you just use the paint itself, and you paint it 3 layers, and it's done. If you do a base and clear, it's a two phase. So you paint your base, 2, 3 layers, and then you do the clear 2 layers to make the shine comes in. So the base is basically fade, and the shine comes from the clear. There are clear that are UV resistant. You'll pay a bit more, but what it will do, it will prevent the sun from burning your paint, and it will keep the shine a bit longer. So instead of paying like $100 for your clear, go and take the $200 one with the UV protection, and that will keep your Jeep in a better looking condition for at least 10 years. Urethane paint, from my experience, after 3 years, it's burnt. I really want a diamond plate for the Jeep now. It sounds great. It's amazing. Um, it's basically instead of having mats, plastic mats to put your shoes on, you get those beautiful diamond plates over the floor. It looks really amazing. It's a bit tricky to work with it. I don't know if you'll need somebody to do it for you. Welding it is a bit but you could easily bend the diamond plate. So let's say you got your diamond plate, you bend it, then you make holes, and you can really adjust the shape. Just give me a second. I got a hello. Wait, I got something. Hello. And there you go. Okay. What is it called? Wait. Okay. Sounds great. Fools. First thing, you beat me to monetization. Bravo. Second, I'm jealous. As also what you do mean by top 10%. It's true. You're there. Fools, you basically did 99% of the job. Once you get to 1,000 subscribers and that 3,000 hours of view time, it is done. You reached it, and basically from there, sky is the limit. Avery, what is the gauge? Oh boy, what's the gauge of the diamond plate? That's a good question right now. I don't recall. I'm sorry for that. Um, so if I remember, there was two different type of gauge that I could get in the years for diamond plate. I would suggest for easier bending the thinner one, but what I would do, I would do the base with the thicker one, cut it, try to with a grinder do a line to help you to bind, and then do the shape that you need, like around the transmission, like the bump of the transmission, with the thinner one. So that's gonna help out to work it a bit better. 10 gauge. Thanks. Thank you, fool. Caroline, I don't care if you smoke. I just mainly saying it's because it happens every single time fool is life. It. I know you are me. I know that, and what I'm saying personally, I want to stop is just as hard for me to stop. It's still like $20 per pack. So if you smoke a pack a day, like money start to build up. So if I get more money, I can do more projects with or I can buy more equipment. So the idea is that I should invest my money into something a bit more productive. Let's say that. Whoop, I hit the camera. We should make like an Harley Davidson, and we would bend the diamond plate for the gas tank. So we'd get like a gas tank of diamond plate, and you do it like an ass. You just like whoop, two bump, like a kind of heart shape. That'd be pretty sweet. I am the smoke. I am the smoke. Not sure if I'm good with voices. Fool is better than me. Fool is the narrator of his own life. I'm just trying to. Sorry, I lost the connection for a second there. I got a text message. Out cutting with a torch or grinder with cutting wheel or plasma cutter. So the plasma cutter, the thing with it, it's amazing. It does an amazing job. It's really fast. The only thing, it doesn't do straight lines. So I would say if you got a plasma cutter, it's amazing to do the main shape that you need. Let's say the floor pan for where your feet are on both sides. You cut it, then you take a grinder and you clean around it to make sure it's really straight. Um, the torch does pretty much the same thing, but for me, the plasma cutter is a way faster job and better job. Keep getting text message. Wait. I may have to go soon because I keep getting messages calling for me. I'm very surprised. I sneak in like other live stream and I've always been brought up. I don't know why. Your hair must be buzzing. Fool, you are the center of this family universe. That's true. Honestly, if it wasn't from Fool, I would have never done shorts and I wouldn't be streaming today. So, yeah. Seeing welded in. What I would do instead of trying to instead of doing welding, if you're good at welding, it's fine. But what I would do, I will do the plate with a grinder. I will do a small notch and bend a corner and get those shape. The thing with diamond plate, it's really hard like to mold in round shapes. So you'll need to do like squared out or angled out, like at 45 degrees. Like shapes. So it's going to be squarey looking, but it looks kind of amazing. I know 92G, which is already a square body, it kind of fits with the old design. Seam weld. I'm not sure what you mean by seam weld. I'm not sure if I get it. Maybe I use another term. Not sure. Maybe you'll have to explain to me because sometimes I may have the French word instead of the English word. So sorry about that. It's still getting messages. Okay, perfect. Doing a test stream. Yeah, I keep getting messages. I'm trying to tell them that weld at the edge. You can, like a bolt, like a joint, yeah. Uh, I would say, yeah, if you do it joint. The problem is you'll see those thick welding. Really depend on the look that you want. So you can do overlaid bolting. So what you do, how about epoxy gluing? Epoxy can do the job too. The problem with epoxy, it takes about 12 hours to sometimes 24 hours to glue it up. Um, the thing is this. Let's say you got two plates that you join together and you weld. You'll get that welding, and if you grind it off on the diamond plate, it'll look kind of scuffy, and it's hard to bring back the shine of the diamond plate. So if you do, let's say, an angle and you come with the other plate, either you flap it over or under it, then you can use the epoxy, and it looks a bit more, not seamless, but at least you wanted that thick design inside of it. So you can either glue it or you just drill holes and you put pop rivets. And pop rivets on a diamond plate can look kind of neat. Some people don't like pop rivets because pop rivets with a lot of vibration can actually pop off. But yeah. Oh, I lost the message of Caroline. Not sure what happened. French. Haha, oui, oui, baguette bibliothèque. Mm-hmm. It's funny because for the English people, we're mocking French people, we'll say baguette, bibliothèque. And when we're trying to joke, when we're French and we're trying to joke about the English, we'll say yes, no toaster, we love skidoo. So, yeah. Anyways, a little something for fool. Trying to, getting again messages. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, I'll stay on for maybe another like 15 minutes. I don't know which time we are right now. Yeah, 15 minutes, and then I'll be done for today, and my test will be completed. And listen, it's a first stream. I'm really happy for you, Avery, Caroline, Fools, to just like show up. It actually helps, like the algorithm and the test itself. I have a customer who wants only a number. Ooh. Stop retracting. I don't have time to read them. Is it you, Caroline, that removed them, or is it YouTube that removes them? Because I'm not sure if there is a filter that is applying right now. If there is a filter, I'll need to correct that. I don't want to filter any comments. Like I have zero filter on any of my videos. So if somebody wants to swear at me, they can't do it, then I don't mind. But yeah, I prefer full honesty, right? Wait, you mean to cut it factory floor and putting it maybe? What I would do, Avery, what I would do, I would keep the floor, seal the floor, do maybe some. So if it's all prime and painted and there's no rust, I would maybe put like a gravel guard. It's the stuff that we put on rocker panels that got like a little rubberish feel to it, and this prevent any scratch or rocks from hitting. And that what we'll do if you put that and then the diamond plating over it, it will prevent any water that goes in between the diamond plate and the floor to rust your floor. That's one way to do it. To remove the floor, I don't suggest it. Some people did it, but I feel that it breaks the structural integrity of the vehicle doing that. So I don't suggest that one. So really just the diamond plating over the floor shaped. And what you can do is just remove the bolts for the seat, make sure the diamond plate goes over, and drill the hole in the same place so you can actually like bolt the whole thing in place. That's going to prevent it from vibrating too much. YouTube say redacted. Okay, retracted. Okay, so it's Caroline that removes them. Okay, you see right now it says 0 viewers, but you guys keep sending me message, so I'm not sure why it does that. So I still have a question. I see that it drops to 0 and comes back to 1. Is it because you guys are getting ads that are forced into you, so you kind of drop out the stream, watch the ads, and come back? Is that what's happening? Curious. Finally got my husband in the chat. That was him. Oh, that was your husband that asked about cutting the floor off or just putting over it? Yeah. So that's what I meant. Just put it over it. It's for me, it's more preferable. And if you want to resell, let's say the Jeep, and the person really doesn't want the diamond plating, you can just unbolt the seats or remove back the diamond plating, and none's the wisest, right? So, but you have to remove the carpet if you do that. That makes sense? So just the floor, gravel guard to protect from water gathering under the diamond plate, and you put the diamond plate. No carpet. And if you have a standard, if I remember, what you can do is just drill a few holes around where the shifter is, and basically you can put the old bolts to hold the boot over the shifter. So it kind of look really clean and really neat. A carpet going in, perfect. It's for a Jeep, if you drive top down always, I highly suggest removing the carpet. Carpets will rot the bottom floor, and that's not great. So the diamond plating remove the carpet and the need to use any like plastic mats at the bottom, right? So, but it's a big project, so I would highly suggest doing the body work and the mechanical work first, and the final project would be to put the diamond plate inside of it. Now, I'm pretty sure if you look on Google, you'll see people doing that. It was really, really common in the end of the 90s. I would see that, well, in my region, I would see that really often. I got another like 10 minutes before I stop the stream. So if somebody have some question. And there is a product that you can buy, because when you're removing the rust, let's say working on a Jeep and there are some places that are hard to clean and sandblast to remove the rust, there are a product that is called a rust converter. So what it does, it's a really, really thick gunk. You clean the rust as much as you can and you shoot that, and that's going to harden over the rust and makes like a shell. And what it does, the rust is going to stay there, but it's going to be completely sealed, and there is no water and oxygen that'll be able to influence and make it go bigger, right? It's like a cancer. So basically, you isolate that cancer cell in the metal. See, he has the knowledge, but not the time. But I'm still going to do it. it it's fair enough. uh, Finally, Caroline, one of my customers called in and said they only want odd numbers on their wiring details. Now I have to go through all the schematics and change the wire numbers to fit its needs. Why would he need odd numbers? What would be the advantage of that? Fool. Nope. Never stop. Get you maple wine and get this going. I have no choice. I have to prepare the lunch. So, yeah, takes at least an hour to cook. So, I have to eat. It's a three-phase varying frequency drive. Pain in the butt for me. That is the true definition of engineer on demands. And I know Fool made a video saying that engineers sometimes don't think about mechanic, but at the same time, sorry, Fool, but at the same time, some request to the engineer is so out there. It's not it's out there. It feels so unintuitive. The engineer is going to be like, I'm going to do it, but it's not going to be great. And they're forced usually to do, of course, it's like, okay, let's say, I want a bearing that does 900 kilometers per hour on the speed, but I want it to be able to do 1 million turn in its lifetime before needed to change. So the engineer needs to design that with the cheapest part possible. And they may say, well, there's only two options. Either I make it 2 million turns before it release, or I can make it around 750 turns before it dies. And then the client usually will choose the one that costs a bit less money. So it's a weird thing, right? I'm meant to work, not to be worked on. I know. Because he's an a-hole and he just wants to make my life difficult. This is the only reason why you would want odd numbers. It feels really like nitpicking on nothing. If you got the schematics, who cares how it's named, right? It's like, just make it flow better. But if he wants that, I guess. He pays for it. Who knows? But I do admit that some alternators and some oil filters are really weirdly placed. And there are some company that seems to have forgotten that their cars need to be repaired once in a while, but oh well. Oh yeah, big time. I don't know for the schematics, fools, what's the program that you guys use? Like for us, I try to remember what was the name. It was a program that we paid for months, per month, and it would give us access to pretty much all the vehicle that exists, and we'll get all the schematics and everything. But it costed like an arm. That was insane. The cost. All data, yeah. So for a mining company, it's nothing, but for a small shop or a small garage, it's like sometimes it's insane. You can pay for just the data that you need to access for specific models, but the cost nearly comes to the same of paying per month. So yeah, they kind of pull you in this corner. So you pay hefty price for the tools, then you pay hefty price for having the information. Hi bud, how are you doing? Hi Hug. Doing well. I just got like 5 minutes left, bud. I love schematics. I'm such a nerd. Well, good schematics are pretty amazing. Um, Hug, if you have any question related to bodywork and stuff like that, just ask away. Uh, like I'm saying, I got like 5 minutes left. Mining we get straight from manufacturer when the vehicle's purchased. Oh, sweet, sweet. That that's pretty cool. Well, it's like working. I was working for Dodge, right? So we had free access to all the information from Dodge. But let's say somebody came over. We had a body shop in the back of the dealership, and sometimes we'll get like Hondas and Toyotas. So we had to access those schematics, and then we had to pay for them. I saw the video on tools with membership on full. Hmm. Senvic by far best manufacturer schematics. What makes them such a best with schematics? Awful? Tell us that. Educate us. So we're full able to do the memberships. Is that what you're saying, Avery? Caterpillar ladder schematics suck. Caterpillar ladder schematics. What? Your video code readers with membership. Oh, yeah. Yeah, forgot about that video. There aren't many body workers here in Whitehorse. I'm a contractor, but was considering body work on the side gig. No idea how much to start though. Honestly, yeah, get a MIG welder. You'll need to start doing body work. The main thing is MIG welder. If you get a shop, try to find a shop around your place where they can bend metal. So it's gonna sound really weird. If you got a shop close by that does hair ducking, they got all the tools to bend metal. So what I do, I take a small strip of aluminum and I take, let's say you do a rocker panel, and I would shape the rocker panel with that aluminum strip, bring it to them, or cut off a part of the rocker panel, bring it to them and say, I need this for 5 feet long. And they'll do it exactly in the perfect shape. So instead of having to pay $300 for a spare rocker panel for a vehicle that you buy from the manufacturer, you can actually just make it yourself, and it's going to cost like 30 bucks instead of $300. So you can charge your client. Let's say you say, well, I did a rocker panel. For the parts, I'm going to charge you $60. So you made 30 on that. And then you charge per hours for the material, etc. So the MIG is really important, a drill, because you'll need sometimes to drill holes to put the rocker and fill up those holes. I got a video for the Hummer where I explained how I did the rockers to make them look like original rockers. And having the drill, the grinder, then you'll need a paint gun, and there's two type of nozzle, and now I can't remember the size, but you'll see there's like a 1.4 millimeter, and the other one I think is at 1.8. The bigger one is for your primer, the smaller one is for the paint job. But you still can buy spray cans or spray cans that are pre-mixed for the color of the vehicle, and you can do the job. When you do backyard mechanic, you'll do a lot of rust, just to let you know. And a sandblaster can be really helpful to try to clean it. But I would say be careful, because a hole in a rocker panel, let's say, can turn out that the whole thing is gone. So even if you think it's a 4 hour job, say it's an 8 hour job, give yourself a bit more flexibility to do the job. But I'll do other stream, and if just subscribe. So if I do another stream, we can actually go down the list, and I can actually help you out to find like specific equipment or the thing that you would need. For the cost of most thing and for the cost of paint, you'll see that sometimes just going into a scrapyard or buying a brand new fender, it's easier than solving all the dents. Because if you put 10 hours to solve all the dents, it's going to cost the client $1,000. You could have bought a fender brand new, just remove the older one, put it on, and do the job. It's going to take 5 hours. So instead of charging 1,000, you can charge $500, and it goes faster, and you can do more clients like that. But anyways, full saying I'm driving, so I am one-ending this and type at the stoplight. Full, be careful, buddy. Caroline's right. We want you alive. We want you to do more video. I can't stream if full is not there, right? But yeah. Nice, thanks, man. Start checking all your. You'll see my earlier video. I was working on the Hummer. The Hummer was completely rusted, and you'll see I kind of, that was my beginning when I was doing YouTube. So I may have confused some gauges for the thickness of the metal, but you'll see all the tools, and I explain the type of product that I use, like the zinc coating that I shoot before welding to prevent rust from where the fuse is happening. I'll leave my page to red. What? Why you leave your page to red, fool? Red got his own page. Does he? How many subs he got now? But yeah, a compressor, you don't need a big compressor. Like having a good air capacity will help to paint for a long time. But be careful. There's something that people don't think about. If you got a compressor, your hose, the length of your hose will reduce the amount of PSI you can put out at the exit. So a hose that's long enough to go around halfway of a car is good enough, and you'll keep the maximum PSI going. And that's gonna help when painting, because now the guns got those cups overhead, which is called a HVLP. It's a high volume, low pressure. And those guns that got the cup under it, you waste a lot more paint per square, because it requests so much pressure to be able to pull that paint out of the gun. So those HVLP are really cheap. You pay like $100 and you'll get like 2 guns and 2 different cups and 2 different type of nozzle. That's gonna help a lot. I know I'm going fast, sorry, Og. It's because I'm passing the time that I was supposed to stop there. I'll leave my page red. Avery, we buy sheets of metal when metal is at low price. So we have perfect. That's actually a really smart move, Avery. Really smart. That was something I was doing for a really long time. I was buying those 4 feet by 8 feet sheets of metal of different gauges. So whatever the project, I'd always like sheet of metal. It's pretty smart. I don't suggest it to Mr. and Mrs. everybody, but somebody that does projects, that is smart. Really smart. So, okay, so I got less than a minute. If you leave your page to red, Lord help us all. It's gonna be about RC cars and him doing stunt in the backyard, drinking beer, sitting in front of the chair and wondering what to say. Poor Red. He needs his channel. So listen, I got 30 seconds left before I leave. So what I'll do, I highly suggest going watch Hatful Heron. As you can see, he's in the comments. It's Fool's Heron, FOOLSERRAND. And there is Renmech, which is a good buddy and a good buddy of Fool. And he's at Renmech, REDMECH. Go check those guys. They're really cool guys. It's thanks to them that I'm actually starting to stream and doing this test. And I actually really don't mind this. So yeah, damn you, Fool, converting me into a streamer. So yeah, so that was fun. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Fool. Thank you, Avery. Thank you, Og. I know some people were there earlier, but I can't thank them anymore. I don't recall their name. But yeah, I was Pro Bono Mechanic. Um, you can go see. I don't remember what is the name of the channel now for Miss Rainey. I think something crimes. Hmm. Fool's gonna type it out, or Caroline, somebody's gonna type it out in the chat. So yeah, I highly suggest going sub um, to Renmech because we want him to be able to stream too and talk about mechanic and his RC cars because there is people that loves RC. So yeah, uh, it's at Chaos and Criminals. So so Miss Rainey, which is with Fools, she has a YouTube channel. She's going to talk about crimes. It's about to go down and she's going to start popping videos really soon. So go check it out. It's at Chaos and Criminals. So ChaosandCriminals. So go check it out. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a great first test. Thank you for the people that are constant viewers. I'm honestly really surprised how much I'm glad that I met Caroline, Avery, and Fools. And thank you. Honestly, next time you show up, if we can actually talk really more in details of the tools, at least to start doing your own bodywork. So I hope that's going to help you out. So, anyways, I'll see you guys around, and thank you for joining. This was Pro Bono Mechanic, and have a great and fantastic day. I'm pretty sure Fool's gonna stream in like 10 minutes. Go check him out.